Something really is off for the housing market. Let me tell you guys why. Because home buyers right now are losing patience. They're no longer on the sidelines, according to Bank of America. Many homeowners, I understand this feeling. They see their relatives buy a home, they see their friends buying a home, and they're the only suckers that are still renting. And nobody wants to rent forever. We all want to buy a home. I understand that feeling. But I think people are just rushing into the housing market and they're not looking at the price at all. In fact, if you look at most of the home buyers, they say the same thing nowadays. Oh, I want somebody to give me a low interest rate. I mean, do you ever look at the price of the home they're buying? In fact, if you look at before the pandemic in 2019, people looked at the price of the house. And then they're like, okay, let's look at what interest rates are like 15, 30 year. But now people just look straight at the interest rate. They're like, okay, yeah, the house is kind of expensive. It's a little bit out of a budget, but as long as interest rates are low, we're fine with it. And then proceeds to take out a 30-year mortgage. That's exactly what some of the home developers want you to do. Because if you look at Columbus, Ohio, this is one of the hottest real estate areas in the country. And people are like, okay, there's record construction, the amount of people buying homes at an all-time low. How come a lot of these houses are still hovering well above $500,000? I mean, a lot of people, when they thought about real estate crashes, they expect these homes to go from $500,000 down to like $300,000. But that's not happening, right? A lot of these home prices are hovering at a very high rate. Popular cities like Nashville, Cincinnati, Ohio, a lot of these Midwestern cities and states are getting a lot of development, record amounts of development. So why are housing prices not go down? It's pretty simple. Many of these developers just simply don't want these houses to go down in price. So, the secondhand market, they're selling cheaper homes. They're selling homes that are like 10, 15% off. What about new development homes? They're refusing to sell at a lower rate. I mean, if you look at some of the used homes, they are like a lot cheaper than the new construction, but people are buying new construction at a record rate because new construction homes can actually pass on the savings to you. Want a 5% mortgage rate instead of 7%? Buy a newly built home. And the reason why is big building communities and these developers, they have exclusive deals with the local regional bank. They could get massive bundles of low interest rates, lower mortgage, and they pass on these savings to the home buyer. But the home buyer is literally paying for a very overpriced property. Whereas secondhand homes around the market are getting cheaper by the day. You're seeing very expensive new construction property selling faster than secondhand homes. And guess what happens? People buy a new construction home at like $550,000 and then they want to sell it a year later. They're selling it for like $500K. And the reason behind this is secondhand sellers, the buyers have to pay like a very high interest rate. You go for a big construction company like these guys, you get a very low rate, like 5%. So this is what's happening. It's almost like a bubble. And I feel like once interest rates calm down and they go down, people start noticing that they truly overpaid for the home. And that lower interest rate just wasn't that great either. And that's something very scary to see. A lot of home buyers are going into this. And a lot of guys on Reddit are saying the same thing. You have real estate investors buying like 3 to 4 of these new construction homes and they rent them out. But rents are super low right now in several cities. So they have to sell 2 units. And they notice that when they try to sell their 2 houses, even though it was just a few months after buying it, they have to sell it for like a 5% discount because they can't offer the same low interest rate as the big builders. So they essentially just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in a very short span of time. But guess what? New construction home sales is at all-time high because traditionally all home sales, roughly 7 to 8% are new. But now home sales, 40% are new. And what's even crazier about this is mortgage applications is at an all-time low, lower than 1995, which is a pretty big deal in my books. So why are they building so much? It's because nobody's selling used homes and construction companies are just selling these cheap bundle houses by the masses. They're having massive fire sales. You probably have seen many homes being built and they're just selling them like crazy. Lumber prices are down. Oil prices are cheap. And of course, builders are just going nuts. And just building a bunch of these cheap, wood houses feels like no personality, no characteristic whatsoever. They're just selling these by a bundle. Sell 1, sell 2, sell 3. They're just selling these on a constant basis. In fact, if you pay all cash, they'll even give you a pretty good discount too. I mean, check out some of the foreclosures and you kind of get the idea. So if so many people are buying new construction homes and developers are making so much money, then why are foreclosures up so much? Well, that's because used homes, nobody wants them, right? And a lot of times people take out so much mortgage, so much debt that even if they sell the house at the selected price from the buyer, they still lose money. So a lot of times these homes just go to the foreclosure route. Foreclosures are actually on the upswing, right? Foreclosures have been increasing every single month for the past 12 to 15 months. It's been nonstop. And it's still a bunch of homes every single month that are being foreclosed. And if you also look at some really scary stuff like big commercial real estate bets, these do not give me any confidence in the regional banking sector, or they give me any confidence in the office sector. Now, real estate is pretty busted right now. Let me tell you why. You got people like, investors like these, they take out $1 billion. They buy a whole building in downtown San Francisco, and then they spend the rest of the hundreds of millions of dollars for a renovation. And they're trying to bet big that office workers come back to the office. But a lot of times they just stay on Zoom, or they work on a hybrid version. So they come to office like 2 days a week. And that means demand for office space is a lot lower. But we're seeing record office construction as well. It's not just record residential home construction, but also offices, which is a really shocking issue because offices are not popular anymore. San Francisco vacancy is 35% and it climbs 2% per quarter. It's nonstop. So what's going on here? Well, I don't know, man. Like, this is one of the craziest real estate markets I've ever seen. The FDIC is also pretty worried about this. They say there's $3 trillion amount of loans in the commercial sector across all region of the U.S. And I think builders and a lot of people see other people building and they start building too. And many of the people who are making these suburban communities and many people who are making a lot of these big office towers are making just big bets. Like the guys making the skyscrapers are literally making bets that office workers come back. They're not coming back, right? And then builders who are building these are literally just offering lower interest rates just to get a bunch of home buyers who are losing patience to just simply buy in. They're like, yes, the homes are a little bit expensive. $543,000. Home prices haven't really went down in the city, but we can offer you 5% interest rates. And then people suddenly just start applauding and they start buying in. I mean, a lot of these new construction homes do look pretty good, but it seems like there's just so much overbuilding. There's so much overbuilding that even Austin prices drop 10%. I feel like once interest rates get cut and used homeowners are finally selling their houses en masse, people who bought new construction at the top will finally start feeling a lot of pain. I say wait a little bit, wait till interest rates go down a little bit so you don't have to rely on what the new home developers are offering, which are slightly lower interest rates. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below and see you later.